All right, everyone. What political party are you with? Are you with the Republicans or the Democrats, or are you part of the Die-Fi movement? Y'all let me know. We'll be right back. Well, everyone. You are back with the laziest YouTuber, okay? The egghead guy. Oh, my bad. I forgot. Do I still look like an egg? Do I still look like one? Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Do I still like an egg? Okay. Or I make sure I have my chapstick too, so my lips will be good today. So I got my chapstick, and I'm trying to make sure I don't like an egg, but so we'll see what happens to that. Anyway. Welcome back to the Working Man Podcast, here where reality checks are free, and you already know what time it is. It is the Working Man Podcast. Yes. Already. Okay, y'all. Yeah. So, hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I did. Over here where I'm at, it was pretty much cold all weekend, but it started to warm up a little bit, so I'm happy for that. In the meantime, we got to get down to what's going on with Umar Johnson. He is on his political soapbox, I guess, if you will. Now, last time we was here live, we were talking about Umar Johnson. He was somewhere in Philadelphia on a park bench, and he was talking about how the voting rights controversy that's been going on has been set up, 20, 30, 40 years ago by Republicans and Democrats. They both have some kind of stake in our voting rights being stripped and things of that nature. And by the way, excuse me, it is springtime. So if you hear my voice, you hear a little wheezing, or if I have to mute the microphone for sneezing and things like that, my allergies have overtaken me a little bit. I'm taking medicine, of course, but I did not want to stop the show. So anyway, as I was saying, now Umar Johnson, he is back in his closet with the chair that he said that would not give up on him, and he won't give up on the chair. He's back in here talking about, I guess, part two of all of his political, where he stands politically, I guess. I don't want to be too long-winded. But in any case, we're going to get into that here shortly. Let me make sure I got it queued up here. Let me see here. I got the video. Quick time. Here we go. All right. Now, of course, before I do so, if you are new to the channel, of course, hit the like button, or hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Of course, If you want to contribute to donate to the channel, I would implore you to become a member of the channel. Of course, I'm doing members only videos. I know I was slacking a little bit on the members only videos, and I've been catching some flack from some of my members, but I'm going to be uploading members only content regularly. So if you find out your heart, become a member of the channel for a small fee. Okay, I got members only videos. I'm doing those regular at least once a week. Okay, you can also hit the super chat. You hit the Cash App. Everything is pinned in the comment section. I'm sorry, in the description box. All right. Other than that, we're going to get right into the video here, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado. Here is Dr. Umar Johnson, of course, sitting in his chair as he always likes to do. What's going on? How are you doing, lady? That's all right. Saint Center. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Now let's get into Umar Johnson. Of course, again, hit the subscribe button, hit this, hit the like button. I would implore you to become a member of the channel, but if not, okay, your likes will be, of course, greatly appreciated. And before we get started, the poll: where did Umar Johnson record this? 100% said in the closet, 0% said FDMG, and 0% said in his sexy office. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the reaction today. Oh, by the way, fair use to Dr. Umar Johnson.
I met the love of my life.
Of course, he's got to read the chat, of course. Here we go. Oh, I forgot. Undertaker bell. Of course. Let me fast forward past that because that is so loud in the ear.
Alive to be invited to speak on every single continent in the Caribbean multiple times this century. The greatest Pan-Africanist since the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the greatest black school psychologist in American history, the #1 most requested guest lecturer in university history. Brothers and sisters, I want to pick up where I left off yesterday. We are finishing tonight at midnight. I'm not going past midnight because I have things I need to get done. So, yesterday was part 1. If you did not watch part 1, go to my Instagram and watch the live I did yesterday afternoon entitled Coup d'etat. Don't believe the hype. The Democrats and Republicans are working together. Don't worry about my hair, my brother, because I don't know what's going on with you tutti fruity zesty type. Stop worrying about my hair, because I can promise you this. One thing for certain, and 2 things is true. Your woman would rather be sitting on my lap as I do this live than laying in your bed next to you. Let me say it again. See, I didn't even want to go there with you dusty hoteps tonight, but okay. Your woman would rather be sitting on my lap as I do this live than laying next to you in your bed. And if you...
Okay. Hey, you know what? Ladies, if you're in the chat, okay, or if you're ninja watching, okay, how many of you all would rather be sitting on the working man's lap than listen to Umar Johnson?
Bitch, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
Probably none of y'all, right? I get it. I'm just a random guy. I'm just a lazy content creator. No problem, all right? But he always gives this insult that, oh, well, you dusty, animals or whatever. I ain't gonna say the C word, but you know what I'm talking about. And he's always pointing to the men first because he wants the men, he wants to gather the women. So he always somehow directs his insults toward the men and say, okay, well, you guys are just dusty and you guys are losers. So you know what? Why don't you come on over here? Remember Mr. T and Rocky when he was talking to Balboa and he was like, hey, why don't you come on here, love your woman, come on here, we'll show a real man. That's what Umar Johnson's doing right now.
Don't leave me alone. I'm going to give your queen the Ifa Tunde shakedown.
That's right. Shakedown.
I will butter her buns if you don't leave me the hell alone. I digress. I digress. How you doing tonight, Coco Chanel? How you doing tonight, Lioness May? How you doing tonight, Neoma Nova? How we doing tonight? They call me Mickey. Okay. Get rid of this zesty.
Block party.
Brothers and sisters. First of all, make sure you donate to the FDMG Academy, paypal.me/FDMG Academy.
$ Mr. Normie.
Make sure you donate to the FDMG Academy, paypal.me/FDMG Academy.
Cashapp, Mr. Normie.
Make sure you sign up for my Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Umar.
Join channel membership.
Patreon.com/Dr. Umar.
Hit the super
We
chat.
just started the Race First book about Marcus Garvey. If you want to join the book club, Dr. Umar's online book club, go to patreon.com/DRUMAR. If you need to reach me by text message, 215-989-9858. If you need to reach me by text message, 215-989-9858. Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow, is El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X Day. Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow, is El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X Day. We will be at Ferncliff Cemetery at the grave site of the great Pan-Africanist El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. Join us at Malcolm's gravesite in Ferncliff Cemetery from 11.
And of course, he has a whole schedule of things to do throughout, probably leading into the summer, right? He's got speaking engagements. He got grave sites to go visit. Of course, he's going to be on the Art of Dialogue here, I think, next week, probably. He's already been talking about that. So, yeah, he's got all these things to do. So, I mean, everything except, by the way, have y'all heard any new news about the certificate of occupancy? I don't know if he's going to say it in here. We're also got to cover the Baba David interview he did. I don't know if he covers it in that interview either, but he hasn't said anything else about this certificate of occupancy in the last, I would say, month or so. So I have no idea what's going on with that. Okay. So there's that.
a.m. until 2 p.m. next Tuesday, May the 19th. And then his daughter.
Oh, by the way, real quick before we continue, I have the QR codes up on the screen because I have a certain percentage of people. I've been checking out my algorithm, my analytics. And I know some of you individuals watch my content on TV. So if you want to donate to Cash App, or if you want to join, or you want to donate to Ko-Fi, those are the QR codes right there. If you watch from TV and you want to donate, there they are.
The beautiful and intelligent Ilyasa Shabazz. She will be hosting a celebration program in her father's honor at the Audubon Ballroom, where Brother Malcolm's life was unjustifiably and unfortunately taken from us, which is now called the Malcolm and Betty Shabazz Center. That program begins at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, May the 19th in Upper Manhattan. So we'll be at the gravesite from 11 to 2, and then we'll be at the Malcolm and Betty Shabazz Center from 6 p.m. onward. I am not scheduled to speak, but I am coming to support. Brothers and sisters, I will be in Franklin, Virginia, Southampton County, Nat Turner Land. I will be in Franklin, Virginia.
Nat Turner, how can we forget?
County, Virginia, Nat Turner Land.
Nat Turner Land.
I will be in Franklin, Virginia, Southampton County, Nat Turner Land on Thursday, June 18 for the Juneteenth program. Thursday, June 18, Franklin, Virginia, in Southampton County. The next day, I will be at the Hampton Event Center, Hampton, Virginia, for the Juneteenth program that begins at 6 p.m. And then I will be in Dothan, Alabama, with my Alabama Africans. I will see you in Dothan.
Umar, I'm an Alabama African. I do not want to see you in Dothan, Alabama, okay? I don't want to see you in the southern part of my state. Shout out to Dothan, Alabama. I do not want to see you down there, sir, but we know you're going to be there anyway. By the way, I keep mispronouncing this, but we're going to say it anyway. Mikish says we'll get another update around 8/21. Well,
Nick, you're stupid.
8/21. I mean, I figure we probably get another update on maybe February 31st, but I mean that remains to be seen. Okay, so there's that.
In Alabama on Saturday, June the 20th. I will be in Cincinnati, Ohio, August the 20th. Nat Turnerland, August the 21st. I will be in Brixton, London, England for the Reparations Day March. Where are my British Africans at? Where are my British Africans at? My Scottish Africans, my Irish Africans, my French Africans. I want to see all my European Africans in London, August the 1st in Brixton for the annual Reparations Day March. I got a few other dates coming up. Let me just check, and then I'm going to get into my message because we're only going to be an hour. I might be in Charlotte, North Carolina next Saturday, May 23rd. I may be speaking in Charlotte, North Carolina next Saturday, May the 23rd. Where my Charlotte Africans at? Where my Carolina Africans at?
North Carolina Africans.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I might be there June 12th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ethiopian World Federation Conference in New York City, July 15th and 16th.
XL.
Ethiopian World Federation Conference in New York City, July 15th and 16th.
Dothan.
Pine Bluff, Arkansas, November the 7th. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, November the 7th. And then I will be in Massillon, Ohio. Massilon, Massillon, Ohio, near Akron, outside of Cleveland. I'll be there either the first or second weekend in September. Sign up for Patreon, join the book club, join as a regular member, join as a free member, donate to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. Let's get into the message tonight. Let's get into the message tonight. Let's get into the message tonight. Brothers and sisters, we already dealt with the fact that they gutted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. We already dealt with the fact that this coup d'etat of the black vote was planned 25 years ago.
So here we go.
We already dealt with the fact that the Democrats and the Republicans are happy that they no longer have to worry about black voter power. We already dealt with the fact that at least half of the Supreme Court justices were appointed by two presidents who were not elected by the people, George Bush and Donald Trump. We already dealt with the fact that George Bush spent the first 8 years of the 21st century gentrifying predominantly black inner cities to reduce black control of elections in the inner city. The gentrification movement was not only about taking back the inner city in terms of real estate, it was about taking back the black vote and giving it to white people in the inner city. Let me say that again. George Bush's gentrification plan was not just about real estate. It was about white people taking back the voting power from blacks in the inner cities. We dealt with that. We dealt with the fact that Barack Obama was given to black people as a conciliatory prize.
Now, we all know that Umar Johnson, he talks about all the presidents, right? He talks about Bush a lot. He talks about the Clintons a hell of a lot, Hillary included, right? But the one president I think he hates more than all of them is Obama.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
He talks about how Obama didn't do anything for black people, how he ushered in, the rainbow movement and all those other kind of things. And he has a special hatred for Obama. Now, say what you will about him. He was there for 8 years. I will leave you to decide if he did or didn't do something for the black community, whatever. But in Umar Johnson's eyes, he was probably one of the worst presidents in modern history. So, next to Donald Trump. So, yeah.
Because our entire history in America is that of taking one step forward and two steps backward. Our entire history in America is about taking one step forward and two steps backward. So they gave black people Barack Obama as the grand finale of concessions to the Negro community. Let me say that again. They gave Barack Obama to the black community for 8 years as a sign and a symbol that this is the last thing we're doing for you, and we won't be doing anything else for black people ever. So y'all going to take these 8 years of Barack Obama, And y'all can celebrate, y'all can meditate, y'all can congregate, y'all can do whatever y'all want. But once Obama's gone, we will never again do anything for blacks. So they gave you Obama to give you the illusion of inclusion. They gave you Obama to give you the illusion of inclusion. They gave you Barack. To let you have your last party before they put us back in Jim Crow. Barack Obama was the grand finale of federal action on behalf of black people. I don't know if you all know this. We've had 10 presidents since Dr. King's assassination, not counting Lyndon Baines Johnson. We've had 10 presidents since Dr. King's assassination, not including Lyndon Baines Johnson. There was Nixon. There was Ford. There was Reagan.
By the way, I got this on 1.25 speed because you know how Umar Johnson likes to pause in between all his statements, and he does that for a psychological effect, of course, to make people remember and to hold on to his words so that he does pauses in between. But like he said, he's saying that this stuff has been set up for the last 30, 40 years, that this stripping away of the voting rights of the African-American people have been a plan that's been in the works for several years now, over several presidents, and it happened in phases according to what president was in office. This one president had this plan to do with it, or this piece of it, and so on and so forth, from Bush, from Reagan, to Obama, to Clinton. They all had their piece to play in the destruction of the voting rights. And he's saying basically that the Republicans, they're stripping the rights on the administrative side, on the executive side, and the Democrats, they stripped it away from a numeric side with the immigrants, so that way it didn't matter what side, so essentially both sides win. We don't need the black vote anymore on either side, right? On the Democratic side, well, we got more immigrants, so we don't need your vote in numbers. On the Republican side, well, we don't need your vote because, well, we never really need your vote anyway. We want the white people to vote for us anyway. They're racist. So that's his, that's where he frames it, right? And again, down the comment section, down the live chat, y'all can tell me how y'all feel about it on either side. But this is his perception of what's going on right now, and he's going to go continue to explain or unfold it, if you will.
There was Carter. There was Bush. There was Clinton. There was Bush. There was Obama. There was Trump, there was Biden, there was Trump again. 10 presidents since Dr. King, not including Lyndon Baines Johnson. And guess what? Of those 10 presidents, 4 were Democrats. Carter, Clinton, Obama, and Biden. Of those 4 Democratic presidents, of the 10 presidents America has had since Dr. King's assassination, 2 of them were Southern Democrats, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter. Actually, 3 of them were Southern Democrats, if you include Joe Biden, because technically Delaware was considered a Southern state. Yes, Delaware stood with Abraham Lincoln, but Abraham Lincoln allowed Delaware to keep her slaves. Technically, Delaware is the South. So Biden, a Southern Democrat, Clinton, a Southern Democrat, Jimmy Carter, a Southern Democrat. Of the 10 presidents since Dr. King, only 1 was a Northern Democrat, Barack Obama. The point that I'm making is that even though you had 4 Democratic presidents out of 10 since Dr. King's assassination, most of them were either Republicans or Southern Democrats with Republican values. Let me say that again. Even though you've had 10 presidents since Dr.
Okay, so some of them were Southern Democrats, the others were Republicans, but you're saying essentially they all had conservative values. Okay, I got it, right? He's setting this up. By the way, the poll, where did Umar Johnson record this? 85% said in the closet, 0% said FDMG, and 15% said in his sexy office. Continue to vote. And if you're in here Ninja watching, please hit that like button. And of course, if you are new to the channel, you still here Ninja watching, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. All right, let's continue.
The king's assassination. All of them were either Republicans or Southern Democrats with Republican values. We call them Dixiecrats. Joe Biden, a Dixiecrat. Bill Clinton, a Dixiecrat. Jimmy Carter, a Dixiecrat. The only one who don't fit the mold was Hussein Obama. But Hussein Obama was put in the White House to make black people think you have arrived. Hussein Obama was put in the White House to make black people think you have arrived. I come on here tonight, brothers and sisters.
Enterprise Entertainment will show you right. What's going on, brother?
You don't know what a Dixiecrat is? Look it up. Did you have social studies class? Did you even go to high school? Anyway, I digress. I digress. I've come on here tonight, brothers and sisters. I come on here tonight to say you need to do two things, and you need to do it soon. I come on here tonight to say you need to do two things, and you need to do it soon. I come on here tonight to say you need to do two things, and you need to do it soon. Number one, get your passport. Please get your passport. Get a passport for your husband. Get a passport for your wife. Get a passport for your son. Get a passport for your daughter. Get a passport for your elders. Get a passport for your toddlers. Get a passport for everyone in your family. Black people, listen to me. Get your passport. Things are getting crazy, and they're getting crazy quick in this country. Get your passport and make sure everyone in your family has one in case we have to evacuate under emergency circumstances. Make sure, Alafia, Baba, I haven't forgotten you, Baba. I will definitely reach out, Alafia. Make sure you have an alternative African country or island in mind that you and your family will escape to in event of an emergency. Make sure you have identified an African country or a Central or South American country or a Caribbean island that is ruled by Africans that you and your family can escape to. I don't care if it's Jamaica. I don't care if it's Nigeria. I don't care if it's Bermuda. I don't care if it's Ghana. I don't care if it's Costa Rica. I don't care if it's Ethiopia. I don't care if it's Panama. I don't care if it's the Congo. But you had better identify your adoptive home in case the American African community has to evacuate.
Well, our XR Pro Service said passport bros is ready. Well, some brothers are already overseas, not in Africa, but in other places, of course. And most law-abiding citizens have their passports. We already know Umar Johnson, he's got his dual citizenship for Ghana, so that's where he plans to go if stuff in America happens to hit the fan. Hopefully that never comes to anything like that. But, I mean, hey, worst case scenario, right? He's talking about the we get our voting rights stripped and everything, and then we have to somehow do a mass exodus of America. I doubt it comes to that, but I mean, I guess anything's possible, right?
Their emergency circumstances. Now, for my FBA and ADOS brothers and sisters, I'm a black freedman, but I don't identify with those organizations. I want to know, what is the FBA ADOS plan to help black people as a result of the Supreme Court decision? And if martial law comes to this country and comes to the black community, because you Negroes been running around. You Negroes been running around talking about you haven't left nothing in Africa. You've been running around telling people you have more in common with white Americans than black Africans. You've been running around acting like black immigrants were the worst problem you have. What do you have to say now? What does FBA and ADOS have to say now that the Supreme Court has gutted the Voting Rights Act? That they can now legally break up any black voting.
Shout out to Enterprise Entertainment. Let me give you that.
I'm gracious, but I'm not content.
Says, ooh, moist. Steven, Steven for the Django. I wanted to catch this fool live and direct. Doctor, psychologist, where's your office even at? Friedman, he has a time mentality. World, let me give you this right here.
Donations.
Also, where's the other one at?
You don't find that suspicious?
He's a time mentality?
You don't find that suspicious?
I mean, it might be a little suspicious. Okay, maybe. Appreciate the donation, Enterprise.
District in America, making the black vote almost irrelevant. What is your plan to help our people? Because black immigrants had nothing to do with what the Supreme Court did. There are no African immigrants on the Supreme Court. There's no Caribbean African immigrants on the Supreme Court. There's no Canadian African immigrants on the Supreme Court. There's no Central American African immigrants on the Supreme Court. There's no South American African immigrants on the Supreme Court. There's no continental Africans on the Supreme Court. There's no Canadian Africans, no British African, no Australian African immigrants on the Supreme Court. So you can't blame the black immigrants for what just happened. But because you have more in common with white Americans than black Africans, I need to know, what is your plan to save our people in the event of a crisis? Get your passport, get your passport, get your passport.
Now, brothers, if you're in the chat, you need to make sure you definitely do that. Get your passport. All right? Now, I know to the passport bros, they already got that handle. But if you're a brother or if you're a sister in the chat, make sure you get your passport because you got to get your travel on. You got to see the world, okay? I've done that myself. A few countries, not a lot of them, but enough, okay? And, yeah, make sure you get your passport, all right? Dr. Umar, of course, like I said, he got his dual citizenship, so he's not worried about none of that, all right? And again, if the war happens to implode and we got to, jump ship, then I guess we had to do what we had to do. By the way, the poll, where did Umar Johnson record this? 83% said in the closet, 0% said FDMG, and 17% said in his sexy office.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
Shout out to Keith Cunningham. Where are you at, bro? Where's that?
I better get some more and
There we
some
go.
more and some more
And some more. All right. Umar is a fake as a $4 bill. That's you're damn right he is. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Next time, make it $4, all right?
You sure about that?
I better get some more and some more and some more and some more.
All right. Thank y'all for the donations. I really appreciate that, y'all. Let's continue.
Also, get you some self-defense. And y'all know what I mean by self-defense. Make sure your self-defense is ready. Make sure your passport is ready. And if you are an African in America who does not live in a predominantly black neighborhood, I think you might want to relocate to a predominantly black neighborhood between now and Election Day on November the 3rd. I'm concerned about the safety of my people in this country between now and Election Day.
If you're watching this, you feel free to move to a black neighborhood. I hate to say this, but I personally am moving to a white neighborhood. Okay?
Nick, you're
You know why?
stupid.
Because I hate to say, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of ninja activity going on, right?
Ninjas.
There's a lot of ninja activity going on. But I saw this one clip where, have y'all seen something about these watches they just released, Patek or some kind of swatch little deal, and they was raiding this daggum place for watches, and I seen this one video where, oh man, shout out to Keith Cunningham, became back, man. Let me give you a round of applause. Man. He said, I told him he just sent $2. I said, make it 4. He made it 5, man. Hey, you know what? I can't be mad at you for that at all, brother. Thank you very much. And again, there's a lot of foolishness going on in the black community. So me personally, I probably feel safe in the white neighborhood, but I make sure I got the artillery ready just in case foolishness goes on. I can protect myself, from the supremacists and all that kind of stuff. But hey,
November the 3rd. So if you do not live in a black community, if you one of those, I live in a white neighborhood, I think I'm better than black people who don't, you better rethink that. You better rethink that. Now, there was a Southern politician who said he wants the Supreme Court to revisit the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment. He wants the Supreme Court to overturn the 14th Amendment. Now, see, I've been teaching on this for years, but y'all didn't want to listen to me. I've been teaching on this for years, but y'all didn't want to listen to me. And I told you, any amendment to the Constitution that contradicts the intent of the founding fathers of this country, not my country, this country, anything in the Constitution that contradicts the intent of the original founding fathers of America, most of whom were racist, all of whom were racist, and most of whom owned enslaved Africans. All of the founding fathers of America were racist, and most of the founding fathers of America owned enslaved Africans. And the Constitution, which is a pro-slavery document, let's be clear. I hope y'all listening to me.
Now, the whole thing about he's going to mention something here about, the Constitution being still a slavery document. There was a clip, how long ago? It was a few days ago, where this young man, he deleted a hip-hop rapper named Julio Fulio. I don't know if y'all heard about that, if you follow, hip-hop goings on. And he was getting sentenced. They were trying to figure out whether they're going to give him the deletion penalty or they're going to give him life in prison. And they asked, I guess the person that's in charge of, sentencing and things like that. And the guy said, you heard of what he said, we got to get sweat equity out of this guy, and he's young, and we got an aging prison population, things like that. And the issue's been raised that the Constitution abolished slavery except if you're a prisoner. And of course, a lot of people are saying that we went from slavery to prison, and that was a way to keep black folks, in bondage, things like that. Of course, there's the population of prisons has a lot of black people in there and things like that. So that argument has been brought up. All right, just so y'all know, I think he's going to go there here in a second, but that is part of what he's talking about as far as like the Constitution being pro-slavery. He might not have said that, but that has been brought up lately. Okay, just know, yeah.
The U.S. Constitution is a pro-slavery document. And according to Constitution...
And by the way, when that guy said that, it did not come off good at all. When he said, well, we got to get sweat. He said, you got to get... Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up. He's like, well, we can get sweat equity out of this guy. And, he's young and we got an aging prison population. And the way they came across was like, man, okay, you just got to lock up a bunch of ninjas. You got just another young ninja to pull in here that we can, put in prison and get some work out of him. Let me see this here. Julio Fulio. Where was it, man? The sentencing. Julio Fulio. Sentencing. The way he came across, man, it was not good at all. Let me see if I can find a real clip and show to y'all real quick, like before we get back to Umar Johnson. Here we go. Where is it? I see it. Hold on. Sweat equity. That's what it was. Sweat equity. There we go. Here we go. Let me find it. Final verdict. I'll get to it here in a second. Let's go.
Constitutional law, any amendment in the Constitution that contradicts the intent of the racist, slave-owning founding fathers of this country is automatically unconstitutional. Now, the 13th Amendment ended slavery except as a punishment for a crime. Except as a punishment for a crime. except as a punishment for a crime. Once you go to jail, you are a ward of a state. You are in bondage. You are a slave. That's why our brothers and sisters in prison don't even make minimum wage, because they have been stripped of all rights. They are slaves. They still slave for the
Here, I think I found it here. Hold on, I think I found it right here.
Ain't no way it's good.
Sweat. That's not it either. God dog it.
corporations in prisons. They are slaves. The prison is a plantation. And the reason they keep so many black people locked up in America's prisons is so we can work for damn near nothing, slaving for America's corporations. The prison system is the new plantation system. They still pick cotton, and they still have their labor exploited by America's corporations. Now, if the U.S. government is able to force...
Here we go. I found it. Just to give y'all a understanding of what Umar Johnson's trying to talk about here. Like I said, this came off very insensitive. I want y'all to listen to this right here. Talking about this guy was talking about that we need more
based on Mr.
Sweat equity. It was very insensitive how they came. Even though this guy deserved to go to prison, but the way they said this was just, it was horrible.
Based on Mr. Gathwright's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him in a work capacity if he were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes, with my experience, not only just in classification, but as former warden and even as a jail administrator. He's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we will put him out there to work because we do have an aging prison population, jail administration, we have that. So we put these young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually can do the work.
And I know we talk about life without parole and death row, but for our jurors' education, in Florida, what does a life sentence without parole mean?
A life sentence in the Florida Department of Corrections means from the minute they're brought in, they're assigned an inmate number. He will be assigned an inmate number, and when he dies and leaves in a body bag, he will still have that inmate number. An inmate serving life will never, ever get out. There is no parole in the state of Florida, and they're not ever allowed outside the razor wire and the fence of a secure facility.
So the only way that an inmate serving life without parole would leave is when they die by natural causes.
I was like, oh man. So again, it came across, the slow slavery bit, the whole sweat equity thing. I mean, I wouldn't have worded like that, but this guy deleted somebody, him and like 3 other people, actually 5 people. 2 were lookouts and 3 were actually, committed the crime. And 2 of them got, like manslaughter, and 3 of them got, capital, deletion. So that's how that went. So y'all understand the framing of what Umar Johnson's trying to talk about here. Let's get back to it.
The U.S. Supreme Court to revisit the 14th Amendment, which gives you equal protection under the law. When slavery ended in 1865, black freedmen had no protections. When the 13th Amendment was ratified in December of 1865, black freedmen had no protections. It wasn't until the 14th Amendment was ratified a few years later that we got some paper protections. The 14th Amendment provides you with equal protection under the law, and the 14th Amendment is what allows for birthright citizenship to exist. It is the 14th Amendment that's supposed to give you due process, the right to defend yourself when you're accused of a crime. What were black people between the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment? What was our status in America between the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, brothers and sisters? That is a question. That is a question. What was the status of black freedmen between the ratification of the 13th Amendment in 1865 and the ratification of the 14th Amendment in 1868, 3 years later, really 2 years later, because the 13th got passed in December. So 2 years later, for 2 years, we were not citizens of this country. What do you call someone? We weren't immigrants. We weren't citizens. We weren't refugees. So So what was the status of black freedmen in America between the 13th Amendment in 1865 and the 14th Amendment in 1868? You wasn't an immigrant, you wasn't a citizen, and you wasn't a refugee. You know what your status was? You were a denizen. Has anybody ever heard of the word denizen? I need you to look up the word denizen, not to be confused with citizen. We were denizens between 1865 and 1868. Let me give you the definition of denizen. Denizen is an inhabitant, resident, or frequent visitor of a particular place, environment, or region. D-E-N-I-Z-E-N. Denizen. Black people were denizens in America between 1865 and 1868. Okay? You were denizen. D-E-N-I-Z-E-N. Now, what is a citizen? Citizen is a legally recognized member of a sovereign state. A citizen is a legally recognized member of a sovereign state who owes allegiance to the government and is entitled to the protection and privileges. Let me ask y'all a question. A denizen is a visitor or a resident or an occupant of a given location. That is a denizen. A citizen is a legal member of a particular state who is entitled to the rights and the privileges of that state.
Okay. Well, let's make sure, because again, a broken clock is right twice a day. I looked up what denizen is. Let us look it up. Let us check out what denizen is. All right. Just for our own knowledge. Denizen. Okay. Read that. Denizen, a person. Wait a minute. Let me make it bigger. Denizen is a person, animal, or plant that lives in, frequents, or is commonly found in a specific place or environment. The term is highly versatile and used across different contexts. Inhabitancy, a regular resident or occupant of a specific area. Frequenters, someone who regularly visits a particular spot. Biology, a plant or animal that is successfully established in a region, even if it's not originally native to that area. And law, a foreigner granted certain rights of citizenship within a country. So he's saying that when, I guess, the Constitution, when we were first given rights, we weren't given rights as a citizen, but as a denizen, that we were not originally part of the country, but we frequented the country. Basically, we were an immigrant of America, but not a citizen, like a complete citizen of America. So, I mean, I guess he's not totally wrong there, right? Let's get back to it. Hold on, let me bring back up. Not that Safari. Quick time. There we go. All right, let's continue.
Which definition do you feel fits black freedmen in America today? Which definition do you feel fits black freedmen in America today? Do you think we are citizens, legal members of the U.S., who are entitled to the privileges, rights, and protections of America? Does that sound like us? Or does it sound like we are people occupying a land in which we exercise no rights, privileges, or protections?
By the way, the poll, where did Umar record this? 91% said in the closet, 0% said at FDMG, and 9% said in his sexy office. Continue to vote. And if you're in here Ninja watching, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, I would ask you to consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to all of the super chat donations. If you want to hit the Cash App, of course, it's $ Mr. Normie. Also, I would ask you to consider becoming a member of the channel for a small fee to grow the community of the union individuals I already have. Please, I want to grow that community of members. But if not, thank you for hitting the like button. Again, hit the subscribe. Let us continue.
Dr. Umar, why are you bringing this up? What difference does it make whether we are denizens or citizens? You know why it matters? If the Supreme Court takes up the 14th Amendment and overturns your right to equal protection under the law, if the U.S. Supreme Court takes up the 14th Amendment and rules that African people are not entitled to equal protection under the law, you will be stripped of your citizenship that you don't have anyway, and you will be returned to the state of a denizen. And if you are returned to the state of a denizen, you are basically a 21st century slave, which also means that the Dred Scott decision is back in full effect. I don't think y'all listening to me. I said if the Supreme Court overturns the 14th Amendment for African people, Black freedmen, equal protection under the law, if the Supreme Court overturns equal protection for Black freedmen under the 14th Amendment, the Dred Scott case automatically becomes the ruling law for all Black freedmen in America. If you haven't read the Dred Scott case from cover to cover, you better read the Dred Scott case from cover to cover. Because if the Supreme Court overturns the 14th Amendment for Black people, the Dred Scott case, the Dred Scott Supreme Court decision will become the ruling law for Black freedmen.
So we're gonna take a quick break here, y'all. Because I know Umar Johnson might be getting kind of boring. So this is what I have for y'all, okay? This is what I have for y'all in the arena of entertainment, okay? Let me see something here. Shit, there we go. What we're going to do is we're going to watch Umar Johnson market some dashikis. Y'all like to see that? Let's go here and watch Umar Johnson try to sell y'all some of the stuff that he would wear, where he gets all his fly gear from. All right, check this out.
This is Dr. Umar Ifatunde Nana Payi, and we are at Yvonne Exclusive. So we are in the production department right now. This is where they make all the beautiful clothing that I'm wearing, that you're going to be wearing. We got the brothers and the sisters making it specific down to
Sweatshop.
the inch. Look at the sister measuring it out, making it work. See my brother right here, he's actually working on my outfit. Make sure you support Yvonne's Fashions. Go to YvonneExclusive.com. This is Dr. Umar.
Man, oh, wait a minute. We got the sweatshop going. Check this one out.
Fatunde, I'm live in Accra, Ghana. I'm at Yvonne Fashion. And you see they made me some fashion, so I'm about to try the fashions on. One love. Family, as y'all can see, I have the outfit on from Yvonne's Fashion, made exclusively for Dr. Umar, King Kong Consciousness. So when I hit the lecture scene, y'all know what I do on the microphone. Fatunde, I'm live in Accra.
All right, let's check this one out.
I'm hanging out in Spintex, Accra, Ghana at Yvonne's Fashions. The best African clothes on the entire continent, throughout Ghana, throughout the United States. This is a beautiful outfit right here. This is something I probably wear if I'm going out on a date with one of my beautiful African queens. Restaurant, lunch, dinner. Kwaba, brothers and sisters, this is Nana Payi and I, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Oguntade. I'm hanging out.
Oh man, let's get one more. How about that?
If you want some linen, you better come to Yvonne X and get you some linen. Go to YvonneExclusives.com. I'm telling you, the best African clothing on the continent, brothers and sisters. If you want some.
Now, mind you, by the way, like I said, I talked about this in a previous video, that this lady has a shop in Ghana and in Maryland. So he's been at both locations before with this clothing. I'm sure he buys all this stuff from over there, all his dashikis and stuff. He still got the same Nikes on. He's always freaking wearing all this kind of stuff. So this is where this donations money is going, besides, of course, rental cars and hotel accommodation and things like that, all right? So that our intermission, let's get back to Nana Payina. Gosh, that was wrong, right? Let's get back to Nana Payina and what he's got to say about this political stuff.
Let me read it to you. Dred Scott was born in the same county as the prophet Nat Turner. Dred Scott was born in the same county as the prophet Nat Turner. Dred Scott was born in the same county as the prophet Nat Turner, Southampton County, Virginia. But slavery would take him to Missouri. And Dred Scott's slave owner would take him into a free territory. And once Dred Scott gets to the free territory, he sues for the right to be free because slavery is not legal in that free state. And Supreme Court Chief Justice Roger B. Taney, may he burn in eternal hell, on March the 6th, the same day as Ghana's independence, but more than 100 years before Ghana's independence, on March the 6th, Supreme Court Chief Justice Roger B. Taney offered the majority opinion for the Supreme Court, and I'm going to read it to you now. Please listen up. Save this live, share this live, study this live. Please listen up.
Listen up.
March the 6th, 1857. This is the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Dred Scott. And let me say to you all, the Dred Scott decision has never been overturned by the Supreme Court. I'm going to say it again. The Dred Scott decision has never been overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. They claim that the 14th Amendment invalidated it. They claim that the 14th Amendment invalidated it. They claim that the 14th Amendment invalidated the Dred Scott decision. But if the Supreme Court overturns the 14th Amendment, then the Dred Scott decision will be the ruling decision for all black freedmen in America. Let me read it to you. Y'all ready? Listen up closely. This is the U.S. Supreme Court decision in Dred Scott versus Sanford, handed down by the highest court in this country on March the 6th, 1857. Listen. A free Negro of the African race, whose ancestors were brought to this country and sold as slaves, is not a citizen within the meaning of the Constitution of the United States. Let me repeat that. I hope you are listening to me right now. Let me repeat that. A free Negro of the African race, whose ancestors were brought to this country and sold as slaves, is not a citizen within the meaning of the Constitution of the United States. When the Constitution was adopted, they were not regarded in any of the states as members of the community which constituted the state, and they were not numbered amongst its people or citizens. Consequently, the special rights and immunities guaranteed to citizens do not apply to them. And not being citizens within the meaning of the Constitution, they are not entitled to sue in that character in a court of the United States. And the circuit court has no jurisdiction in such a suit. The only two clauses in the Constitution which point to this race treat them as persons whom it was morally lawful to deal in as articles of property and to hold as slaves. Since the adoption of the Constitution of the United States, no state can, by any subsequent law, make a foreigner or any other description of persons citizens of the United States, nor entitle them to the rights and privileges secured to citizens by that instrument. A state, by its laws passed since the adoption of the Constitution, may put a foreigner or any other description of persons upon a footing with its own citizens, as to all the rights and privileges enjoyed by them within its dominion and by its laws. But that will not make him a citizen of the United States. Let me repeat that line. I'm going to come back to that. Let me repeat that line. But that will not make him a citizen of the United States, nor entitle him to sue in court, nor any of the privileges and immunities of a citizen in another state. The change in public opinion and feeling in relation to the African race.
So we're going to fast forward just a little bit because, of course, he's going through rules. He's starting to read the Constitution, all this funky mess, and they got time for it. Let's see what else he's talking about.
Going to do. They're not going to sentence you to jail. They're going to sentence you to indentured servitude to the Apple Corporation. They're going to sentence you to indentured servitude to Foot Locker. They're going to sentence you to indentured servitude to Walmart. They're going to sentence you to indentured servitude to McDonald's. Is that a snowman? How dare you come on my live? Is that a snow? How dare you bring your ass on my live, sir? You melanin deficient, sun-cursed, reptile lip having devil. How dare you come on my live and try to see? I don't go into the ice community and bother y'all.
Ice community.
I don't go into the sun, the frost bit, the ice community, the mayonnaise, the milk. I don't bother the Snow Kingdom. You have never seen me disrespect a member of the Snow Kingdom. I have never infiltrated one of your lives. I ain't never tried to touch your wife, your daughter, your sister. I'm just taking care of my people. But you narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, genetically recessive, reptile-lipped, melanin deficient, sun-cursed demons got the nerve. No disrespect to my white fans. No disrespect to my white fans.
No disrespect, huh?
No disrespect to my white fans,
huh?
but I got to check one of your fellow brethren. I got to check one of your fellow brethren for disrespecting my sacred space. I don't go where I'm not wanted, and I would appreciate it if they didn't go where they're not wanted. Brothers and sisters, you are going to start seeing black people indentured out to corporations in exchange for prison time. I promise you.
Okay, so now the plan is that instead of going to getting the deletion penalty or going to prison, you have an option to become free labor for one of the corporations. That's what he's saying right now, that the whole slavery thing, that's how they're going to reintroduce it. That, okay, well, you're going to get caught up, of course, with some substances. You're going to do something crazy out there. They're going to go to court and you're going to go through a trial and everything. They're going to say, you know what? Instead of going to prison, you can work your time off by going over here to X corporation and working your time off there. So we can get free labor for these corporations, right? I mean, happens in the movies sometimes, I guess, but in real life, I mean, is that gonna be everybody, or that just gonna be for black folks?
In the next 25 years, Black America is going to look totally different. Phenotypically and politically. And let me say this to the white Democrats. Oh, let me say this to the black Democrats first. I got a message for the Congressional Black Caucus. I have a message
He hates
for the
them too.
Congressional Black Caucus. We're going to finish at midnight. I got 20 minutes. I will
He
finish
hates
on
them
time.
too.
I got a message for the Congressional Black Caucus. I feel sorry for y'all. I feel sorry for the Congressional Black. I feel sorry for y'all. You know why? Y'all sat back and let the Democrats conspire with the Republicans. I'm talking to the Congressional Black Caucus right now. I'm talking to the Congressional Black Caucus right now. I'm talking to those 59 Negroes on Capitol Hill whose job description I would like to know, because they've done nothing for us this century. But I want to say this to the Congressional Black Caucus. You sat back and you let the Republicans and Democrats strategize to take away voting power from predominantly black districts, and you did nothing about it. You did nothing about it. And now your job in Congress is under duress. You are at risk of losing your seat. Some of you have been there since I was a little kid.
Now, what he's talking about is that under the whole redistricting thing that is going on in the United States of America, if they do it the way the Republicans are trying to set it up, some of the senators that are part of the Congressional Black Caucus will actually lose their seat because they won't have a position no more. So that is part of what's going on with that. All right. By the way, the poll still. Did Umar Johnson record this? 92% in the closet, 0% FDMG, 8% in his sexy office. All right, continue to vote in the poll. If you're ninja watching, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, okay? And again, thank you for the donations that I've already gotten. If you want to donate in here, you haven't yet, of course, hit the super chat, hit the membership join button down below, hit the Cash App. Umar Johnson says that the Congressional Black Caucus ain't doing nothing for black folks. If you just enter the room, Umar Johnson is back in his mama closet. Shout out to the Cookie Cuss Chat. And he's continuing to talk about the political realm, what's going on with the Voting Rights Act right now, what's going on with redistricting, and how this is going to affect black folks in the future. Let's continue.
Some of you have been in Congress since I was a little child. It's the only job you've ever had. It's the only thing you know how to do. And now you are about to get put out by the same Democrats you've been helping to get reelected year after year after year. Once they split up Memphis, and once they split up New Orleans, and once they split up Shreveport, and once they split up Baton Rouge, and once they split up Charleston, South Carolina, and once they split up Columbia, South Carolina, and once they split up Rock Hill, South Carolina, and once they split up Jackson, Mississippi, And once they split up Biloxi, Mississippi, once they finish slicing up all the predominantly black districts, you will not have enough black votes to get reelected to Congress. Y'all thought y'all was so smart. Y'all thought y'all was so smart working with these Democrats, and look what they done did to your ass. The reason the Congressional Black Caucus is tripping out right now is they know that this racial gerrymandering of predominantly black voting districts is going to get them elected out of office. And it is all their fault. So let me ask the Congressional Black Caucus this. Let me ask our black congressmen and women one simple question. Will the white Democrats in Congress go to their white constituents and beg them to vote for your black ass? I'm going to ask the question one more time. Since y'all part of the Democratic Party, since y'all all part of the colorblind Democratic Party, I got a question for y'all. Get off. This is a zesty fester. Oh, my goodness.
Block party.
So, black congresspersons of the Democratic Party, do you think you can go to your Democratic colleagues and ask them to go to their white constituents and beg them to vote for a black person in Congress? You know that's not going to happen. You know there's not a Democrat in Congress that is going to go ask white people to vote for your black ass. I know you know that's not going to happen. You got elected because you come from a predominantly black voting district. Let me say it again. You got elected because you come from a predominantly black voting district. Let me say it one more time. You got elected because you come from a predominantly black voting district.
You fought to that three
now
times.
That they done gerrymandered your predominantly black voting district and attached it to a much larger white voting district, who is going to vote you all back in office? White people are not going to vote for y'all, and y'all know it. So you know what that means. If there's 60 U.S. congresspersons, there might only be 40 of y'all November 3rd. It might only be 20 of y'all in 1 year. And the Congressional Black Caucus might not even exist in 2 years. Did y'all hear what I said, brothers and sisters? Brothers and sisters, are y'all listening to me? The Congressional Black Caucus might not even have enough people to sustain it in 2 more election cycles. By the time y'all vote for the next president in 2028, by the time y'all vote for the next president in 2028, how many black congresspersons will still exist? Of those 59, how many will we have after November of 2028? How many are we going to have after November of 2026? And it's all their fault because they betrayed us to the white Democrats. The black Democrats betrayed us to the white Democrats, and now you don't have enough black votes in your own district to stay in Congress. And none of those white Democrats who you've been helping get reelected on the black vote is going to go out of their way and ask any white people to vote for your black ass. I am so embarrassed for us right now.
So embarrassed.
I am so embarrassed for us right now.
Understand.
I cannot believe we allowed ourselves to get put in this position. And let me say this, and I know the Democrats ain't gonna like it, and I know the Democratic Party plantation slaves ain't gonna like it, but let's be honest. Democrats don't care about black people. Republicans don't care about black people. The only difference between the Democrat and the Republican is the Republican don't need your vote. The Democrats do. That's the only difference. They don't care about you. They care about your vote. And I need black people to make a distinction. I need black people to make a distinction. I need black freedmen to make a distinction. The Democrats are paranoid, not because they care about you. Didn't Bill Clinton lock up more black people than any president in American history? Didn't Wild Bill Clinton lock up more black people than any president in United States history? Did the Democrats do anything about that? Did the Democrats do anything about Wild Bill Clinton filling up the prisons with black people?
Well, one thing's for certain, they're not going to get rid of that 3 strikes policy, I don't think. And the whole thing about mandatory minimums and stuff like that, I don't think that's going away anytime soon either. So, I mean, say what you will about, what rules were brought in during that era with Bill Clinton and when, Joe Biden was a senator and all those kind of things back in the early 90s and 2000s, early 90s, I would assume. So, I mean, say what you will about that, I guess.
No. They don't care about black people. They care about the black vote. There's a difference.
Yeah, black freedmen. The Die Fi movement, the descendants of African freedmen in America. That's that new group that Umar Johnson has made, of course, in response to the FBAs and all that. Because he's always competing with Tariq Nasheed. That's not going away anytime soon. So he made a new group all to him. He made his own group that I don't know if anybody actually behind, but that's what he's doing.
Between caring about black people and caring about the black vote. The Democratic Party don't care about black people. They only care about the black vote. And do you know what's really making me upset right now? In my last 13 minutes, let me tell you what's really making me upset. I'm seeing black journalists, so-called journalists, run around telling black people, if you want to change what's happening, you have to make sure you vote on November the 3rd. If you don't, if you want to change what the Supreme Court just did, you need to vote November the 3rd. Can I ask you a question? The Supreme Court cannot be voted off the bench. And Supreme Court decisions cannot be reversed through a vote. So if every black person in America votes on November the 3rd, nothing changes about the Supreme Court. Stop trying to manipulate black people into voting for white Democrats on November the 3rd. Stop it. Stop it. No vote can change what the Supreme Court just did. I am not FBA, sir. I am a black freedman. I am a leader. I'm not a follower. I'm a...
Andre Freeman, I guess that answers your question. He said he's an American freedman. All right, he said he's not African American. He said he's a black freedman. So I guess that answers your question right there, sir.
Black freedman, sir. I'm a Pan-Africanist. Now, with that being said, why are the Democrats, if white Democrats want the black vote November the 3rd, we will vote for them on one condition. If white Democrats want my people to come out and vote for you on November the 3rd, let me tell you what you got to do. Because most white senators are millionaires and most white U.S. reps are millionaires. So if you are white and you want the black vote November the 3rd, don't call up Al Sharpton. Don't call up Roland Martin. Don't call up Ben Crump. Don't call up Tamika Mallory. Don't call up the Black Church. Don't call up the Black Greeks. Don't call up the NAACP. Don't call up the Urban League. If you want the black vote November the 3rd and you are a white Democrat, I want you to dig in your pocket. We want you, if you want the black vote November the 3rd, white Democrats, dig in your pocket and build a relevant black institution for black people before November the 3rd, and we will consider voting for you. I'm going to say it again.
Well, you know, we do need somebody to build a black institution because Umar Johnson, he claims that, you know, he's got an institution.
Bitch, ain't no way.
So,
Ain't no fucking way.
I mean, we do need a black institution because we know FDMG is never going to become a real thing. So somebody has to build a black institution, right? So he's telling you white Democratic politicians that if you want our vote on November 3rd, then you need to go in your pocket and build a relevant institution. Or better yet, you should donate to FDMG. Yeah.
Because all of you are millionaires. You don't get to the U.S. Senate unless you got a couple $1 million. So all of you are millionaires. If you want the black vote, I need to see some independent black schools. I need to see some independent black hospitals. I need to see some independent black banks. I need to see some independent black supermarkets. I need to see some independent black manufacturing plants and distribution networks. If the white Democrat wants the black vote on November the 3rd, show us you care by building some black institutions with your own money. That is the only thing you can do to convince us to vote for you. That's right. Dig in your damn pocket. I didn't say no federal grants. I didn't say one word about a federal grant. I said dig in your pocket and build some independent black institutions by November the 3rd. And we might vote for you. Now, with that being said, I do want black people to take state legislature elections serious. Now that the Supreme Court has busted up black voting power, we have to look to the state. And if they overturn the 14th Amendment, we won't be federal citizens anyway, so we can only vote for state reps and state senators. So you had better find out who your state rep is. You had better find out who your state senator is. You better find out what the issues that are coming up for a vote in your respective state. I want us to turn up and turn out.
Now, in Umar's defense, we should be doing that anyway. We should be making sure not only do we, because the federal thing is like the big picture, right? Of course, the president, the Supreme Court, all that kind of stuff. A lot of those elections we can't do anything about anyway because of, electoral votes and all those kind of things. But state, city, aldermen, these are things that we can influence, I believe, on a small degree, which are probably more beneficial to us in our own cities like Chicago and New York and, other southern places that, we need change more at a more individual level. These are things that we can more impact, I think, than the federal, elections, because none of us or I would say there's not a lot of black people that are flexing their muscle to be any kind of, donor or any kind of, they can influence an election or stuff like that. Or they're not using their power to do that if they do have it. So, I mean, we don't, what's the word I'm looking for? That a lot of, people in these billionaires do their lobby. A lot of these black folks that got money, they're not lobbying the government to do things in favor of black people because, for whatever reason. So the state, city elections, those are things that we can more impact, I believe.
State elections. I want us to turn up and turn out and vote for our black elected officials in the state race. And if your state rep or your state senator is a coon, find somebody to switch them out. We want to de-coon all state legislators.
Yeah.
We want to de-coon all state legislators. We want to de-coon all state legislatures. So if your state rep is a sellout, if your state senator is an Uncle Tom, find out who's running against them or find out who you can get to run against them because the state is becoming more important than the feds.
Okay.
The state is becoming more important than the feds. Brothers and sisters, get your passport. Get your passport.
I wonder if he got in the back of that chair.
Do not trust the Democrats.
What he covered up with.
In fact, after this election, November 3rd, black people may no longer be relevant to another federal election. If you don't have no majority black voting blocks, why would any candidate listen to you anyway?
There's areas of mid.
Okay, he has some guests come on. Let me see if I can fast forward this a little bit.
Sister Nyla going once.
Yeah, the call in, of course.
Sister Nyla going twice.
Yeah, I guess.
How you doing, my beautiful sister?
I'm blessed and highly favored. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right. What city you in, Queen?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, actually.
Oh, wow. You're in Memphis. So please give us an update. You got all your brothers and sisters from around the world on the Dr. Umar Live tonight. I got 1 million subscribers. I get 20 million hits a month on Instagram. What is the feeling of our people on ground zero? Are they paying attention? Do they even care? Are they still hip-hop out, NBA playoffs out? What is the feeling on the ground?
So y'all get it, right? Umar Johnson, he had some people call in, of course. And, of course, you know how that probably went. Some people in Tennessee got people getting there, giving their opinions and all that kind of good stuff. Of course, he was probably big up in the Queens, as he always does. But y'all see what's going on here, right? Let's see what he said toward the end of this.
Brother Derek. All right. It seemed like, oh, wait, there was a new request right there. Let's go with Legendary. Legendary going once. Legendary going twice. Where Legendary at? Cancel Legendary. I don't know what's going on with the request, y'all. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's 12:30. Thank y'all for tapping in. Brothers, I'll get to you next time. Hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Get your passport, get your security. Okay, May 23rd, Charlotte, North Carolina, very possible. June 18th, Franklin, Virginia. June 19th, Hampton, Virginia. June 20th, Dothan, Alabama. August the 20th, Cincinnati. August the 21st, Nat Turner Land. August the 1st, London, England. And we got a few other spots coming up, brothers and sisters. If you need to reach me, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Peace and Pan-Africanism. And don't forget to join my Patreon. Go to Patreon tonight, patreon.com/DRUMAR. Dr. Umar with no period, patreon.com/DRUMAR. Peace and Pan-Africanism.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, y'all. That's it. All right. Well, thank y'all for being here. I think his Umar Johnson's talk about this is over. Again, I do want to cover Baba David here another day or two. But Umar Johnson is on his political thing. And when he talks to Baba David, he's also going to be on that same thing, this political kick and all that. He's going to have some guests come on, but you know how that's going to go. The poll, where did Umar Johnson record this? 90% said in the closet, 2% said FDMG, and 8% said in his sexy office. We will close this poll out for posterity. Thank y'all for whoever voted in the poll. I appreciate your vote. Thank you once again for all of the donations, the like button if you hit it. Again, if you are Ninja watching it here as you exit the stream, please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank everyone for the donation that you gave. And again, consider becoming a part of the Working Man Union, okay? Hit the join button if you would, please become a part of the union if you would. But anyway, thank you y'all again for all the participation, however you participated, whether it was liking, subscribing, super chatting, talking inside the live chat. Appreciate that, y'all. And one more thing, okay? One thing I would like to say, all right? Sometimes we have detractors in here. Of course, we got mods that like to handle business, all right? And I don't mind the detractors, of course. I mean, we're going to have them. I'm a small content creator. I'm a lazy content creator. But still, we have people that come in here, and, you know, they're big up in Umar. So, you know, we let them have their space until they get too rowdy. And then, of course, you know, we got to do what we got to do, right? So anyway, I appreciate everyone for being here. We'll be back soon. All right. Thank you for being here with lazy content creator. I have my chapstick I put on, so we good. I got rid of the egg. You know, of course, I got to get my shape right. Anyway, my name is Nicholas J. Fury, here where reality checks are free. Thank you once again for being here for the Working Man Podcast Live. We're going to see y'all at another time. And as always, everyone, as I like to say, reality checks are free. See you next time.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite.